being recorded and will be on YouTube tomorrow for anybody that's not here. So.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. I just wanted to thank you for coming. Technology has been my hobby ever since I became a teacher. Well, before, you know, the newest iPads, the newest phones, it was always, I always wanted my hands on them. I always wanted to see what was coming out. You know, it was always a passion of mine. And when, you know, we finally got the internet connectivity, the wireless, all this stuff started happening in the building, I was like, I'm ready to do this with my class. You know, how can I do this? How can I do that? And I was constantly researching better ways to do things because I like technology. My kids like technology. So if I can do something they like, check for the teacher, right? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to work on basic Google Classroom. Are you going to learn everything there is to know about Classroom today? No. It's way too much to try to learn in one day. It really is. But what you will learn is how you can go back to class tomorrow and start. Okay? We will have your classroom set up to where you can go in. Your students will add themselves. You will not have to go in and enter their email address or anything like that. And if you have an assignment that you think of today that's going to be one of our projects, what's one assignment that you can go in tomorrow and try with your kids that you've learned today? Then you can go ahead and give it a try. Okay? All right. So I do want to tell you, this is going to be very hands-on. Okay? So I'm going to have checkpoints throughout the entire lesson. I'm going to show it. I operate under the I do, we do model in class. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to model it for you, and then you're going to get to do everything. Okay? So please, I know you're going to want to get on there and start clicking on things and trying, but let's wait. Okay? I want you to make sure you see everything before you get started. Okay? So please do not create assignments as I teach them. But one thing about these slides, and everybody is going to be connected to a resource, I've created a table of contents for you. Okay? So if there is something specific when you get to your classroom that you're wanting to learn how to do, all of these table of contents will be displayed, and all you have to do is click on it, and it will take you to these slides. And you won't have to weed through all of them. They're right there. Okay? All right. So, well, why Google Classroom? Why do we need Google Classroom in our classes? Well, number one, this is the go-to in the whole state. Okay? All over the state of Virginia, it's a big deal. They use it regularly. That's what those kids do. And I don't know about you, but I am one of those people that if the kids in the northern part of the state have it, and it's being an advantage for them, I want to hear. I want to hear. I want to make sure I'm doing everything for my kids that they're doing all over the state of Virginia. They should have no less. Okay? So that's one reason why I use Google Classroom, because I know everybody else does. Okay? So, Google Classroom will automatically create folders in your drive. Okay? It organizes itself. You don't have to worry about labeling things and dragging things. It creates that folder. Anything you do or your kids do, right there. So guess what it gets rid of? Yes. How many of you take a big old bag of papers home with you every day? It eliminates this bag because it's all on the computer. All of it's on the computer. Okay? So if you have internet access at home and you choose to grade your papers at home, it will be right there. You pull it up, grade it, send it to the kid. Boom, they've got what they need. Okay? You create and collect paperless assignments. How many hate making copies? I hate it. Hate it. It takes up too much of my time that I could be doing something else. This is paperless. It does it all on the computer. Okay? It provides a way to give feedback quickly. If you're sitting in a classroom and you have your students, they've got their Chromebooks there, and they're answering the assignment, and you pull it up while they're working, as soon as they submit that assignment, I can see it. It gives me the ability to say, you missed this question, go back and reread paragraph 2. They don't have to wait the next day and get a paper that they forgot they were doing in the following day. Okay? So you can give feedback in real time. The only way you can do that now is to pull up a chair and sit and watch each individual student answer their question. And then say, no, that's wrong. Who has time for that? I don't. Okay? Assign documents to students individually or share a document with the class. How many of you have students with IEPs? Yeah. What this will allow you to do is customize each classroom for the students that are in there. So you can assign work to this group of students, you can assign work to this group of students, and you differentiate. All right there in front of you, one-stop shop. It's all right there. Okay? They pull it up. They don't see everything the whole class sees. They see what's for you. That's it. Okay? It is a secure space for classroom discussions. Don't know about the discussions because they're not very nice sometimes. You've got to be careful about the way they talk back and forth to each other, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But if you have a good group of kids, and let's say they're doing, you have a higher group of kids, and you want to work with this small group, okay? They can do discussions to where they message each other back and forth. They're doing research. The other child can come on and say, look at this article. Send them a link. They look at it and they compose everything together. Do you want to open it up for them to talk about anything they want to? No. But if it's controlled, it's a perfect environment. Okay? Now, why do you want it for your students? Well, it automatically creates folders in their drive to stay organized because the kids have access to their drives. Okay? How many of you give papers out to them? And at the end of the day, they're in the floor. They're in the trash can. They don't go home. Well, parents can access that drive. All they have to do is log in as their kid. Everything is right there. And it's graded. Going to a meeting. Well, why does this student have a C? Why does this? Take your little Chromebook with you, click on it. Right there's why they have a C. It's all there. All their work is right there. You don't have a paper that they take home and you never see again. You have to remember it all. Right? Filing assignments into those folders automatically. It does it all for you. You don't have to go in and organize everything. It'll do it for you. It provides a secure space for classroom discussions. Again, you got to be careful with the discussions, but it can be beneficial when you allow. Creating a one-stop shop for creating, reviewing, and turning in assignments. All right, so let's get started. Here we go. Now, we are going to access Google Classroom. You can do this in two ways. Okay? Anytime you're wanting to access a Google app, if you put what you're looking for at the beginning, google.com, it will take you there. So, you can either go to classroom.google.com or you can go to your little hamburger here where you access your email and you'll find it right there. Okay? So everybody go ahead and do that. And here's your little hint. If you click it, you can drag your stuff around and put it where you want. Okay? So if it's at the bottom and you've got to scroll all the way down, bring it up. Make it easier to find. Help yourself. I stole that from Mr. Robinson the other day. Did you get your Chromebook issue?
Yeah, downstairs. So it was like, there's something in our internet.
Oh, okay. There we go. Please. Let's see. All right, guys. All right, so is there anyone in here that has never ever set up a Google Classroom before? What part are we at? Okay. All right, so we are going to walk you through getting you started. Okay? All right, so you're already logged in, so we don't have to worry about that. So I'm trying to do it. We are going to yeah. Oh, you're in. You're good. As long as you're here, that right there is if you've never ever done it before. So you're part right there. So you're good. Classroom. You're good. Just hang out.
Got off this one day, there's a communicating on. I can't go on my computer and work on something.
Right.
Landon's this far. I wanted to have a document.
Do you know how to click on the icon and go to classroom? Well, you're right. Where you need to be right now. You're good. Right there.
Whatever, or drive, if I'm gonna go to drive. So what do I wanna do? We're gonna start the class in just a minute.
And you're right where we need to be. All right. Looks like everybody's where we need to be, okay? Now, if you have used Classroom before, you are going to see classes there. If you haven't, it's going to be blank, okay? When you leave here today, it won't be blank anymore. You're going to have stuff in there, okay? So, what we're going to do, I'm going to take you, did anybody get to see the video Mr. Robinson sent out today? You guys probably didn't have time to watch it. Well, the email that he sent is a hippo video, and what it does, and hippo video, by the way, is something you can use later once we learn this, but it is a link to this site. So you won't have to worry about what he's telling you because everybody in this room will be on it when you leave here, okay? All right, so what I want you to do, this plus sign, guys, is how you either join or create a class. So go ahead and click that, please. Now you're going to be joining. Joining means you're walking into that classroom, right? If I walked in here and sat down, I joined the class. Okay, that's what join means. Okay, create means just what it says. You're going to create a class, and that means you're the boss of that class. It's yours. You made it, right? All right. So go ahead and click on Join Class. And if I leave you behind, stop me, okay? And I'm not up here just preaching. You can talk to me, you know, and tell me to stop. I don't care. All right, so click on Join Class. And what that will do, it will bring up a menu, okay? Every class in Google has a class code, okay? That's how they distinguish one class from another. They assign them a number, okay? So this is what you need to type in. It's 7L, those are lowercase letters, 7LS, the number 1, C08.
Was that not the class?
That's
code for
you
the-
did that when you watched the video.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. All right, 7LS 1C08. And once you click that, click join, this is what you're going to see. You are now walking in to the Resource Center for Google Classroom. So instead of physically getting up and walking in, we're going in on a computer, right? All right. So this is your resource classroom, and this was used for our very first training that we did back in February at Ridgeview Middle School. Okay. Diana Smith, which is our computer lab teacher and an absolute dream, and I worked together to put this together. Okay. Now, if you look, the way she's designed this, she did it for her students, but that finger that's pointing right up to classwork, this is where you need to go. Every time you go into that resource, you're going to look, and there's some comments in there. We were being silly because we were tired and we were ready to go home, but we were putting comments in there, so kind of ignore that
Myra
part.
put one of those in there, so she was.
Yeah, she was Noah. Noah was Myra
Myra.
Fleming,
So whatever
so.
Myra put up there, you can just
Yeah.
know it's what Myra put.
All right. So, anytime you go in here, that little hand is going to remind you where you need to go to find your resources. Okay? So, what you need to understand about Classroom, whenever you go in, you have 3 main buttons that you need to look at. You have a stream, and stream is kind of, I describe that like a Facebook page, like your news feed. You know, when you go through there and you want to find out what's going on, that's your Facebook news feed, is your stream. Okay? That's where you scroll through and say, okay, what's been done in this classroom today? Is anybody saying anything? And you're just looking through the comments. Okay, that's what that is. But what we want to make sure we do is to go into classwork. So go ahead and click that, please. All right. Once you click on that classwork tab, what that's going to do, it's displaying all the resources that's available. And it's a little overwhelming when you first go in there, especially when you're not familiar with it, because there's so many things to look at. Okay, go ahead and scroll down.
the first part of that she was actually using for her training purposes. But when you get down to material, this is everything that Diana has put in there for you to go to access basic Google Classroom uses. So if there's a question that you have or anything, you are more than welcome to go in here. The way you access it, no, let me show you this. This material part is your basic resources for Google Classroom. Now, down here at the bottom, these are all screencast little videos that I created to teach you how to make the materials. If you can't find anything, because most things are Common Core, and it's really hard to find digital resources or just regular resources that go with SOL standards, okay? So a lot of times you may choose to make things on your own. And once you get familiar with this, you can say, you know, my progression, I started out slow. And then I said, well, what else can I do? Ooh, that's awesome, what else can I do? And I was just constantly looking for things, okay? So once you get familiar with it, you know, this is where you'll start, okay? This is your intro. Once you get familiar, then move down in here, and it's going to show you a world of things, especially if you're a Google Slides user. If you're a Google Slides user, you can do anything. Let me pull it up. I hadn't planned on it, and I'm sorry, but I have got to show you this. There you go. If you're a Google Slides user and you go down into my materials, okay, these are the training slides that I used when I was doing it before. But how to use Google Drive. There's a Google Slides tutorial. If you ever want to learn anything about Google Slides, this is an awesome video. I did not make this one, but I included it because I couldn't have done any better. Okay? So you can go in there, it'll walk you through step by step how to use Google Slides. Now, these are the two that I love. And Chandra, this is going to be music to your ears. Provides differentiation. It will read the slides to the kids. If they have an online article, it has an extension that you can record that article and read it to them. So you don't have to do a real out for every one of your students. You go in there, it shows you exactly what to do. I made it, you gotta listen to me. But it tells you exactly what to do. And how can you make it even more personal than that? Right? That's awesome. Okay? So anybody, you know, you have kids that need to read aloud, and, you know, resource teachers can't be everywhere at one time, and you need help. You're going to be able to do that yourself. Okay? So, all you have to do is go into this classroom. All this stuff is there. Hyperlinks, read aloud for differentiation, audio, and this right here will tell you how to differentiate assignments. We're not going to be able to do that today because a lot of you don't have kids in your classes. So you don't have the option of choosing who gets it and who don't. You'll have to do that on your own. But this video will show you how to do that. Okay? Any questions so far? Alright, so if you're wanting to look at a link or you see something you're interested in, creating an assignment in the classroom. You can't use it if you can't put an assignment in there, right? Because what you need to understand, Google Classroom is not a resource for materials. You are the resource for those materials. You put those in there, okay? And it's only as good as what you use. If you're not putting things in there that are beneficial to your students, why use it? It's just like handing them a sheet or opening up a story to read that's nothing to do with what you're doing. It's the same thing, okay? But to access these links, you click on them, it will expand down. You can go ahead and do that if you want to. And you can click on the link. So you can go ahead and play with it a little bit and see what you see. Make sure you don't have any questions about how to access it or anything, because this is going to be so helpful when you're doing it on your own. But just remember, when you're looking for resources, the Willis ones are the more advanced. The ones up at the top are more of your basic classroom things. Okay? It's okay. Alright, every slide that I have on this resource classroom.
and then there on the smart board, see that sitting out S1CA? That is how, because every little classroom has a code that you have to go into.
Did I need to retain how long it took me to teach my side? Once I figured it out.
This will be up here every time I go in the classroom. Here, this is sure. Don't worry, you see this? You always click on that. What lessons are in? Yeah. You did that with the training, did you see that video? I don't know if you watched it, but Mr. Robinson sent out a video of the training with the original. Okay. This is all the materials that I listened to and I put together in a short video. It is all kinds of resources. I'm constantly putting more stuff in there. These are the more advanced. It teaches you how to make your own stuff and how to make your results. It teaches you how to make your own stuff. This up here is more of the basic right here, how to get started, the classroom teacher center, everything. It'll just take time to set and just look at it.
Okay.
So I think we're all good.
Everybody ready to move on, or you still want to look some more? Are you good? Oh. All right, so here's a checkpoint. Let's see where we're at. I want everybody to close out your window, like you're coming to your computer for the first time, log in, and return to classroom. Make sure you can get there.
You want to be so mad at me because I make you close these out all the time and stuff. I love reading. You have to type it in, read it properly.
There you go. And you're there. You're there. See? You're right there. Everybody's getting there. How you doing?
You're making me memorize my passwords much more than
Oh, wait, I have to log in.
I'm just
used to mine better than
Those are pictures on it.
Oh, jeez.
Addie's been
I'm used to being mine in the room.
There we go. Do the hamburger, the little menu there, like your email. There you go. Yeah, and that'll get you there.
Get down the
Yay!
room, it'll be all right.
So can we check that learning standard off, guys? We all know how to get back in it, right? Okay, good. All right, we can check that standard off and move on to something else. All right, now, I'm going to put you in my training class. So, join my training class, and here it is. See if you can do that one on your own. Ask questions if you need help. Join another class. Guys, you can keep joining and joining and adding and adding. Like rooms in a building, you just keep adding another room, another classroom. You're gonna have so many, you're gonna have to scroll.
Plus, I got 4 of these are for the lab anyway, so.
Go into the classroom and the reading machine. There you go. Now, you only want to go in that if you want to look at these things. Okay? This is your journal. Yeah, you remember it now? Yeah, that's how you join a class every time. Yeah, and there's your code. Yeah, every time. The only time you put in that classroom is if you copy something. That's already in there. That's already in there.
You got no cell?
I got no stuff. Give it to you.
I have copies.
Did you, Elizabeth, did you get celery for snack today?
Y'all didn't get snack?
Everybody in the building except our children.
You gotta be kidding me.
Okay, is there anybody that's not in the training classroom? Are we good? Okay, here we go. All right, the reason I want you to create that training class, guys, is because you are going to be the student also. If you don't know how to help your student or understand what you're assigning, what it looks like on their end, you're going to be kind of lost when the kids ask questions. So I'm going to try my best. This is the first time I've really tried
showing the student and the teacher side. So we're going to see if this works. It should be fine. Should be fine. If it's not, I'll just pull it up and flip back and forth on it. Okay? So, once you're in this training class, when I teach you how to create assignments, you're going to go into this training class and be a student. Not going to worry about the answers or anything, but you're going to see what the student sees. You're going to submit your assignment, like I explained it to my kids. They're bad to forget to submit, and I can't see it on my side. I'm like, guys, it's like sitting there at your desk doing work and saying, I'm not turning it in, I'm going to hold it. I said, because I can't see it. Okay? So you have to understand, the kids have to know to turn it in or you can't see it. Okay? Alright. So, here is another little site. Open a new tab, click on the little plus sign, and open you a new website because I'm going to give you something. Now, as part of this Google Certified Trainer exploration application process, I had to create a Google site to start keeping all my resources on there. Okay? So I'm going to give this Google site to you guys. So whenever I add something as a thank you for coming to watch me, you get to see what I know. And you'll learn as I learn. Okay? So everybody in your web name, sites.google.com/dcps.k12.va.us. Huh?
It says DCSP.
I'm sorry, I got in a hurry typing. I should be at public schools, not schools public. But you know what to do, right? Error. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. I've added a little link. And now that I know it's wrong, I'm going to fix it. There we go. Susan, I'm going to have to get you to be my editor.
I did too the
as I
first
go
time.
through.
Put it in.
All right. Is everybody able to access
Put it
it?
in the second time.
All right. So this is a website. The way you access it, there's me. I had to put a little educational goal thing on here, and it's the truth. I mean, it's just what I told you guys. I'm a 5th grade English language arts teacher, and I also teach history at Clintwood Elementary School. I'm a certified level 1 and level 2 Google educator, and I'm working toward attaining a Google Certified Trainer credential. Okay? Research in educational technology has been my passion since becoming an educator. After seeing the way it transformed my students' learning, I was hooked. I strongly believe the resources and experiences that are available to other students in the state should be available to all students in our community. So, let's work together to achieve this goal. Guys, can I do that in every room by myself? No. That's why I'm doing these trainings. Because I want all students in Dixon County to have what they have in Norfolk, to have what they have in Richmond, to have, I mean, they deserve that. They shouldn't be at a disadvantage technology because of where they live.
How do we say this? I haven't know.
You can bookmark it.
Oh,
Once you
okay.
go in it, bookmark it to your bookmarks and you can go into it. Now, to navigate it, it's set up with a menu. And down here, guys, if you need to contact me, there's my email address. Always open. I've been converting YouTube videos for Myra until we got this wonderful fix. Now, I won't have to do that for her. But, and we're going to talk about that. YouTube videos now work, by the way. Okay? So, if you have any questions, email me anytime. I may not answer you right away because, you know, teachers, we never know when we're going to be able to answer somebody. But 7 o'clock at night, I'll answer you. Okay? Now, up here at the top, there is a menu that you click on, and it gives you all the different pages that are on my site. Okay? Clicking on Google Classroom Training Resources, you will have, and here's where I was telling you about the table of contents. There they are. If you open them up, this is the very first one. This is the one we're on. You don't have to scroll through all of these slides. All you have to do, let's say you want to look at the Stream tab. You click on it and it will take you straight to the Stream tab, and you can look at everything that I have in there. Okay?
Are we supposed to have permission for, or are you just giving us presentation one right now? 'Cause it doesn't show.
2 of them are asking for permission.
2 are asking. I can change the settings for you, legal, and we'll get it. We'll get it because you guys are the first ones to get to see it. So yeah, so I can change the permissions. You guys are privileged. So.
Probably because.
But I will change it.
It gives you permissions
Yeah, I'll change it. You'll have permission before you leave, and then when I change it for you guys, everybody will be able to see it.
It's just a matter of publishing it, right?
It's a matter of, it's just a click and drop box. That's it. Yeah, yeah. is,
Stephanie, I just
Yes.
want to say this too, this potentially could be your teacher page. It's so easy. to
Oh,
use.
it's
I
so
mean,
easy.
I don't want to oversimplify it, but it's so easy to use.
yeah,
And you can do a teacher page with that so much easier than what you do it on there. Well, let's tell Larry that. He said, well, you can't get rid of this stuff. I said, well, you get rid of something we don't have to pay for. We do this for free. You can do your teacher page and it's still being filtered because it's DCPS. It's not, and it's so easy to use.
It's not rocket science.
No, it's just, it's really neat. I mean, it looks so, right
And it's
there,
very professional looking.
professional looking at that.
You spell
I'm not
everything.
saying the Stephanie's not good at it, but that looks really good compared to
There's a
what
spell check.
we've got so, you know.
It just doesn't spell
But when
check
it's 2:30 in the morning.
website. Well, it doesn't spell
Yeah.
check your
You're like,
URL.
I gotta go back. All right, so sites.google.com/dcps.k12.va.us/S Willis for Stephen. And you can get there. If you bookmark it, all you gotta do is click on it. I've got tons that I still haven't put on there yet. I'll be doing that this week.
Stephanie, I just want to mention, you could potentially link your classroom to your Google Sites page. So when parents come to your page,
Yeah.
you could allow them to have a link to your classroom. So anything that you've got, it can be in one stop right there rather than going 3 or 4 different places.
Yeah. And I'm actually exploring ideas for, a lot of people, if they're not familiar with Google Classroom, but the kids are, but the parents aren't. So they're not really understanding the link when they're doing homework. The kids can do it, but the parents can't help. And they're, a way for to link my Facebook page, my teacher page, and all this, and I can just go in there and have a student page, have everything. All right, so is everybody able to access the site? And I will give you permission for you. And you'll be able to get those other two. Okay? All right, guys. So, who wants to make their own classroom for use in your room tomorrow? You ready? Okay. Go back to your classroom tab. You can close that out if you'd like, but just click on classroom. Did you notice what I wanted you to see there is anytime you're in classroom and you open something, it'll open it in a new window. So you don't have to search for classroom all the time. Okay? So, clicking on the tabs up at the top, you can go into classroom, you can go into a website, whatever you need to do, and you don't have to go through the whole process of logging back into your classroom. Okay? Alright, so remember, to join or create a class, we're always going to go to our little plus sign. That's our menu. That's how we join, that's how we create. Okay? But this time, when you joined the previous class, you became my student. This time, you're switching roles, and you're going to create it. It's your classroom. So, click on Create Class. Alright, that's going to bring up your Create Class menu. Now, what I want you to understand, guys, this Google Classroom is your class. It don't have to be set up like mine. It don't have to be set up like Amy's or Elizabeth's or Rita's, anybody. You do what works for you. Elizabeth, do you have classes set up, do you do individual or just one where you have personal?
I haven't set up anything because we don't have Chromebooks, so I hadn't actually gone in.
So you haven't gotten it yet? Okay. Well, our 3rd grade teacher at Clinton Elementary, they switch classes. She has a 3A and a 3B. And she goes back and forth, specifying the class. I don't do that. I put everything in one big class. Both classes, I have 41 students. I put everything there because it's faster for me. All I have to do is if I create a form, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute, I just put class and the kids put 5C, 5D, and it'll sort it. So I don't like going in and swapping them. I just put them
I
all
would
together.
imagine my OCD-ness, I'll probably have like reading class, math class.
Yeah, that's the way I do with the topics. You're going to see that today. Yes, ma'am. You'll see that today.
Alright, so on this tab, the only thing you need to understand is the class name is required. And it even tells you, you have to put a name. But the rest of this stuff, section, number, subject, you don't have to worry about it. That is optional. Okay? So, we're going to practice first. I'm going to let you work in a practice classroom first, and then you're going to create your own. Okay? So, write last name, practice class is the title for your class, because this is the class you're gonna practice in to assign your assignments. In just a minute, you're gonna make another one just for you.
Actually type that.
Yes.
Oh.
Put your last name, practice class.
Yeah.
Because what's gonna happen?
Mullins practice.
Put your last name, yes. And let me tell you why I'm doing that, so this makes sense. You are going to make me your student, and we're gonna take a break after a while, and I'm gonna go in and grade your work, and submit, grade your work real quick, so you can see what happens when you get an assignment, okay? I'll be your student. You're gonna add me to your practice class.
So just create them? You want us to click
Yes,
create?
once you have finished, click create, and this is what you'll see. Your picture may be different than mine, but this is what you see. You just created your first class, a lot of you did.
I don't know what mine.
You created your first class. How many?
It takes a minute. It'll pop up in a second. Oh, bam, there it is. Next.
Or upload the photo.
Stop.
She went through.
Oh, there's my class code. Nice. Select a student. Oh, I'll have to do that. What does that say?
Check your email and then I'll show you where to go. You're there.
That's all right. I don't know.
Still want to do the purple. So you got your class code up there.
Who do you sign out and sign back in again?
There was some completely out of that law, just run out and go back.
Let's see. What do I
I like that picture of publish. It's refracting.
Of course you do. Oh, how pretty.
I'll have to set photos.
You gotta hit that okay button first.
Because they can't create classes. That's it, yeah. Okay.
What are we supposed to do now?
Just make that, that's where we're at right here. I'll try this one.
It's not creating it at all.
Oh, no, she just create. Oh, she can just enter a code like a student.
Thought she was only going to try this.
Okay, yeah, that's the only other thing I know.
Plan B.
That's how, no, that's how the kids want.
So do our students only have a joint option?
Yes. As
So
far as
maybe
I
they
know.
have her, when they create her account, they create a different one.
They might have, that's what I
Well,
thought.
it should have an STU in that, though, so that's
Oh,
specific
that's
to that
true.
STU.
Yeah,
That's
they
to
do.
the student.
Huh.
Susan, have you ever had your kids create a class? They don't have that option, do they? It's just
The
a
kids
join.
create?
Yeah, they
No,
can't.
they
It's
can
just
only
a
join.
teacher option. That's what I thought. I was making sure I was telling you right, because I had never seen that on the student account, so. Because hers, that's just like a student, not a teacher.
Listen, I'm with you, I'm not.
Because it comes up with the little red
Join,
hat person and the.
Right.
Maybe you need to turn it on.
I'm thinking, yeah.
I just turned it off because
As
it's
soon as we get this
boring.
Natasha settled, we should be good to go.
That's basically the same as mine.
We may have to do training class part 2.
Y'all are like me. You're like, oh.
It's Thursday.
Yeah. This is not, I wouldn't be here if it was Friday. I don't think anybody else would.
Little League, yeah.
I did.
Yes, why do you want paying attention and you either have a section number or a subject? You didn't have to. Okay. That's what that optional.
But you can edit. You can edit
That's
it.
optional. Looking at me, yeah, that's totally optional. Like I said, these classes are your classes. You don't want to put it on. Alright.
Oh, Lordy mercy. I'm shaking here.
She's like,
Oh, I didn't get the speaker. Lord mercy.
We you gotta have to do that, go that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I was the first time, because otherwise it was probably
Sounds like her county is crazy.
I think that's what's softball. Well, I mean, I was nice either. I'm just having all kinds of problems. That was my choice. Yeah.
I'm not paying attention.
That's what I do with my kids. I have trouble here.
Put a section number or a subject.
And today is my 12th week.
Well, take your hands off your eyes.
Drinking a whole coffee, got me.
I never drink a whole bottle. We patients will walk up to the door.
I'll wait on
The doors will lock.
I would go ahead.
Everything ever
All right.
says that they
Are you
go along.
good? Yes.
And
Now, what
nobody,
about the creative?
throws over every other time. But I never read it. Nope, still doing the same thing. I know,
I
right?
can't fix that.
Probably walked out the door.
Yeah. Oh, well. Well, maybe you and Pam could just be buddies. And observe each other. How's that sound? All right.
You could do sections.
Here we go.
Yours.
You could do sections
After the fact.
where you have like different grade levels and different groups coming in.
Now you've joined the practice class, and what this class is for you to practice adding assignments, those kinds of things. Because while you're taking a break here in a little bit, I'm going to be your student. You're going to make assignments. That was the folder I shared for you. I'm going to be your student, and I'm going to go in, and I'm going to submit them. So you can pull them up on the teacher side and see what you see. That's the only way to do it. There's no other thing. So this practice class, first thing you always come to is called the stream. Remember, I compare this to the Facebook news feed. Okay? What it does, it tells you everything that's going on in that classroom that day. So if your students posted a comment, or if you assigned an assignment, the kids, when they go in or when you go in, it will tell you everything that's happening. Okay? It's like your news feed. Okay? Now, in this screen, you will see the title of your class that you assigned. Everybody see that? Okay? Class code. Remember I told you every individual Google Classroom class has a special code. That's why when that code is typed in, it takes you to that class. It's like a room number is what it is. It just looks different than 305 or 405. Okay? So, then these are your three things. Remember we saw this in our resource class. These are your menu tabs. There's only 3 options, so there's not a whole lot to choose from. Stream is your news. Classwork is where the action happens. In your room, your classroom, that's where the action happens, right? So that's where the classwork is. And then the people tab is where you can see who is in your classroom. And we'll see that in just a minute. Okay? Here, if you don't like the picture, those kinds of things, you can click on select theme. Go ahead and click on that if you want to. And you can pick a different picture, whatever you want to do. If you want to upload a photo, if you like to personalize all of your stuff, you can put your own photo on there. I'd love to see yours. Okay. Now, in each assignment, you can assign due dates. This is really, really good because what this will do is alert your students, hey, this is coming up. I've got one and only I'm a book project due Monday. And the kids, you know, if they get finished, it's got to be read, they got to complete all the Google slides, and they have to have an AR test done. So I've been keeping all of it in Classroom. They've been keeping track of everything. That's how I know who's on track. I don't have to go to them, because if they got an individual project that's due on Monday, how do you know where they're at in that project? You have no idea, right? Unless you go around and ask them. But in Classroom, I can pull it up and see exactly where they're at. And I can go to them and say, hey, this is due Monday. I did this today. This is due Monday. You still have 3 slide projects, which means you haven't read half of the book. Okay? You've got to get it done. 2 rows. So that is an awesome option. Now, settings. Everybody click on that. Looks like a little wheel or something like that. This is where you control your classroom, what it looks like, what you do. Okay, this is your control center, and it's got its own little tab with like little contents. Okay, this is your full screen. This is what you see. Now I'm going to break it down. This top part is where you can change anything. So Pam, where you didn't do that, if you wanted to add it, that's where you go. You put all that stuff in there then, okay? Any changes you make here happen in real time, and they will immediately change on your classroom page, okay? Now, this general part is how you control what happens in your classroom. Okay, it's not a lot, but they're big things, okay? The general, you have a class code. Remember, I told you everybody has a room number. Well, that's your code. You can keep that. If you hit that down arrow, it will change. You can change it. Let's say that it was compromised. Let's say that your students started giving it to their buddies and they started joining your class. No, you don't need to be in my class. I got enough to grow as it is, right? So you can go in and change that class code, and nobody else can get into it unless they have the code. The students that are already in there will stay. Then, here is your stream. Now remember, your stream is your newsfeed, and we're going to talk about this in more detail because it's so important. I'm just going to graze it right now. But this is how you control what happens on your stream. What kids can post, what they can't post. If only the teacher posts and nobody else. Okay? Show deleted class. This is very, very helpful because if you deleted an assignment, and let's say you wanted to go back to it and review it, you know, you got the grade, unlike handing a graded paper back to a student, you never see it again, right? If you deleted an assignment, you can bring it back up and say, now who did bad on this, who did bad on that, and it will look in section. Okay? So it's not like paper that gets thrown in the trash and you never see it again. It's all there. And then your guardian summaries. Now, guardians are the parents. You have the option to send emails to them. It will not send their grades, but it will tell them, like my one and only Ivan project. There's emails going out telling the parents this is what's happening. I had, at the beginning of the year, I had a form that I asked for an email address, and I already had it. So, you invite the guardian, enter their email address, and if the parents opt into it, they can choose daily summaries. They can choose a weekly summary. They can opt out anytime they want. It's not something they have to do. Okay? Alright, so by clicking that toggle, you can turn that off and on. That's your settings. Okay? So, anytime you need help, help is available on any screen. You guys see that little question mark? Anytime. Go ahead and click that. Anytime you click on that question mark, it's going to bring up this menu. And you're going to see the newest features in Classroom. Send feedback. I've already done that. I didn't like something, I sent it in. Okay? They want to hear this stuff because they want to customize it to what you like. Okay? They feature requests or anything else. They want to hear from you. They really do. Okay? Go to the Help Forum for more information and learn more in the Google Classroom Help Center. That's always there. You can always click on it. If you don't want to go to one of these outside sources or search YouTube, click on it. It'll help. Okay?
They're pretty quick to respond.
They are. I had responses in like 30 minutes. Yeah. All right. You ready? This is your classroom. Close everything out. Log back into Classroom and make one for you. Name it, whatever you want to do, just create it. Make sure you can create your own classroom. This is for you to use in your class. Set it up the way you want it. So, pick a name, whatever you want to do.
I think mine is S. Willis Fifth, is what I say, or Miss Willis Fifth, something like
Pop up windows.
Okay? And remember, the bottom section is optional. The only thing required is the name. Okay? I'm sorry.
that. Classroom, yeah, you did.
It's all right.
I like to make a trip with me with you. How we doing? Anybody need help? Are we good? Oh, I like that spank worship in consideration.
All right. Anybody that has not got your classroom created, are we good to go? All right.
Oh, is it working on it?
Yes.
It took mine a few seconds.
It does, doesn't it? Those of you with empty classrooms are getting full now, right? There we go. All right, so how are we doing? Everybody ready? Okay, so this classroom, guys, we will not touch today. This is going to be for your room. That's why we created two. Number one, we wanted to make sure we could do it. Number two, we're going to practice in our practice classroom. Okay? All right. So, if you're going to use Classroom, you've got to know how to invite students. What good is it going to do to create it if you can't put a student in there, right? So, please return to your practice class. See if you can do that. Go out of the class you created and go to your practice class. Okay? Your practice class. It's all right.
She's very.
I'm very familiar.
Come in here, work on it.
Okay.
You can pull up in class.
It's too late, we can call a session two.
All right. So, everybody in your practice class. Now, like I said, what good is it to be standing in your classroom with all kinds of work to do if you don't have students coming there, right? They've got to know how to join that class, and you've got to know how to tell them to do it, okay? So, on your Stream tab, there are two options to get those kids in your classroom. The first option is in the Stream tab. Everybody should be there, right? Right here, click the little box. That box means expand. Click that and watch what happens. If you use a smart board in your class and you have students sitting at a desk, that's all they need to see, that code. They do the same thing you did. Click, they log into Classroom, they click join, and they enter your code. That's it. And boom, they're in there. That's all you have to do. Easy peasy, right? Now, clicking on that will expand your code. Everybody click on the People tab. Remember I said there's three menu options. You have Stream, you have Classwork, and you have People. Now, this is where you're going to go to see which students were successful in getting in your class and which ones were not. Okay, so if you have 20 students, you have 5 kids in there, something's wrong. You got to go around and make sure they're doing it right. Okay, so let's start up here first. Now, Chandra, your resource teachers, this is a wonderful thing because clicking on this, you can collaborate. You can add your resource teacher, and you can share the same classroom. So the kids don't have to worry about, okay, whose room do I go in? Whose do I go in? You know, you say you go into English. You go into whatever subject you're working on, and all of your stuff is there. You do it together. Okay? Then there's your student tab. Okay? Now, let's say you have special needs kids, or you have first graders that may have a little trouble with this. You can manually invite them. You may not want to, but you can. If you have their email address, you can invite them to class. Okay? So, everybody click on invite. That's invite a student. The top one is invite a teacher. Okay? Now, all you're going to do is type in their email or their name. I want you to invite me to your class. So, here is my email address. You can, mine is SD Willis, but you can type in my email address if you need to and invite me to your class. And I want to show you what happens while you do that. Watch what's happening to my classroom. You're sending me an invite. This is what your students will see when they log in. Is an invite to join. Yes, they can decline. I hope they don't. They better not. But join. They can join your class. So that's all they have to do. You don't have to display a code. If you have a list of email addresses and you want to sit down and enter them just to make sure that everybody does what they're supposed to do, say you have a student that's absent the day that you add kids. You want to go ahead and get them in there, right? So you make sure you've got all your students set up, send their email. When they log in, they won't have to be going through the code. You won't have to be doing all that. They just click join and they're right there with you. Okay?
I was just gonna say with that, that's what I did originally last year.
Yes.
And you don't have to type the whole long thing. Once you type a few, you see you don't have to. It doesn't
Right.
take as long as it sounds like it would.
Exactly. Exactly. But if you have older students, fourth, third, even third grade, third, fourth, fifth, you may go ahead and choose just to display the code. Okay? So remember, once they go in, and I'm going to join and let you see what happens when these kids join the class. Go to your people tab, please. I'm getting there. You go to your people tab, you can see they join. And that's another reason we did a practice class, because I did not want to be nosy on your personal class. Oh, I love your picture. All right, am I in everyone's class? Under people, do you see me? All right, so that's what's going to happen. The minute your students click that join button, you can go under that people tab. And when you give those instructions sit there at your desk, pull that people tab up, and you'll watch them pop right in. Okay? So-and-so's not there. Hey, you better click join. You're going to be left behind. Okay? All right. Okay, are we good to go? Everybody on the same page with me? Okay. Now, remember this is the stream tab, and this is where you can make announcements. Now, in the settings, we're going to talk about that in just a minute. But what I like to do, always remember, stream is your home page. That's where you control stuff. Okay? That is really important. It saves you a lot of time if you just let them join. Okay? All right, checkpoints. Ready? Close out your current window. Return to Google Classroom. Open Google Classroom, go to your practice class, and display your class code. Those are all important steps. You've got to be able to do that before you can use Classroom. All right. How we doing? It wasn't hard, was it? You're learning. How many of you know more when you came in now than you did before you come through the doors? We're getting there. We're getting there. That's what the resource classroom is for tomorrow when you say, oh man, what was that? Okay. All right. Am I leaving anybody behind? Is everybody here with me? Are we good? All right. Good. Now, stream tab. Your class code, you have your menu, select theme, we already talked about that. Now, you're going to create an announcement, okay? What
because it will confuse your students. When they see it, they'll click on it, start working, and then get all their work finished, but then they can't submit it. They gotta do it all over again. So I highly advise, do not, because I did it. I thought, oh man, I can put my YouTube video, I can do this, they'll see it right off the bat. Learn from my mistake. It wasn't pretty. All right, so everybody go into your settings one more time, because this is where you're going to control the string. This is where I was telling you, you're going to decide, and you can change this at any time, but it's going to give you a thinking point. How am I going to implement this? Do I want my students to be able to type anything they want? Do I want only me to put announcements? That's what you're going to decide now. Is everybody here? Am I leaving it? Okay. Stream moderation. These two tabs right here control your entire stream. It's the only controls you have for it, but they're important. The first one, students can post and comment. Go ahead and click on that. This is where you gain control of technology. Because sometimes we can feel like technology is running away from us, can't we? When we don't have control over what the kids are doing. Well, Google Classroom gives you that control. Okay? Students can post and comment. You leave that open, they can do anything they want. Okay? Students can only comment. They can't post things, but they can say things back to you. Okay? So think about your maturity level. Think about the grade that you're dealing with. Those kind of things. Only teachers can post or comment. Mindset. And it's not because I don't trust my students. It's that I don't want to deal with an issue of this when I can be teaching something else. Okay? It's a whole lot easier to control that. So, but you decide, it's your classroom. Whatever works for you, it's yours. You personalize it, whatever you want. Okay? Now, condensed notifications. Show attachments and details. Show condensed notifications and hide notifications. I wouldn't hide them. Because anytime you post an assignment or anything, it'll pop up there. The kids usually don't read it a lot, but it could be a reminder, hey, Ms. Willis has put something new in here. Okay, I wouldn't hide them, but it's up to you, right? And I would show condensed notifications because it makes it a whole lot easier to scan that page when it's smaller than when you're having to go through a lot of stuff, especially if you're wanting your students to comment back to you. Think about if you have your students' comments and then you have all this other stuff, you'll be scrolling all day. Okay, so think about it and choose what you'd like to do. And this is a way to control outside conversation. Maybe you assign it for homework. I do homework on Chromebooks. I do it, makeup work, anything like that. The kids love it. Absolutely love it. They'll do it from home when I don't want them to. I'll be sitting there and I've got it set up to send me notifications. I'm sitting there at 9 o'clock at night. Ding! So-and-so submitted their assignment in Classroom. And I'm like, oh, okay. They were supposed to do it till tomorrow. Okay? So, you can't ask for more than that. So, that is all you need to worry about to control your string. That's it. 2 little menus. Okay? Any questions about this string? Because we're finished with it. We're moving on. Are we good? Okay. X out of class settings, and when you do, you're going to come back to your page. Okay? Create your first announcement. Type anything you want. You click on that screen, it's going to give you a menu. Now, one good thing about this, we may not be in the assignment part yet, but we are in a menu that looks like every menu you're going to deal with. Okay? Now, your practice class. What that is, guys, if you click on that, it's going to pull up your classes. And you can decide which classes you want to post those announcements. Yeah, right there. Yeah, right here's how I did it, guys. Watch. Right there, you click in that section like you're going to type something else. Pop that up. See it? Yeah. Okay. Got it? Okay, so it's going to give you a drop-down menu. This drop-down menu will list all of your classes. You can pick and choose. You can put that announcement in every class you have in there. You can pick one class, totally up to you, but it saves you from going into each individual classroom that you've created. Okay?
all students. At this point, how many do you have? One? Me? So you just have me, so you can decide if you want to send me a message or not. Okay? Now, at the bottom, and remember, you do have the ability to do this, but I highly recommend you don't. I really, really do. From personal experience, the kids can open it, do the work just like they are in classroom, but they can't see it. And it's really sad when you say, you gotta go back and do it again. I'm sorry, because it won't let you print it, won't let you do anything. Okay? So I highly recommend that you do not put attachments in your stream. Only save those for classwork. But if you find a way it works for you, go for it. It's yours. Okay? But these are what your links are, and it's the same thing as an assignment. Number one, if you do not, now some of you said you do not use Drive, you still like to use a flash drive. Just because you use a flash drive doesn't mean you can't use Classroom. Because you can attach anything you want straight from your computer. Google Drive just makes it easier because it automatically sorts everything for you. Okay? 2 is your Google Drive. 3 is YouTube. YouTube is my go-to. I love YouTube videos. There are so many good videos out there. And this is a link. If you want to put a link, let's say, how many of you use PowerSchool? If you want to make a PowerSchool assignment, you go into PowerSchool, copy that link, click on that, paste it. When the kids sit down, let's say you got your Friday test, okay? They pull up their Chromebook, it says do Friday test, they click on that, it takes them straight to PowerSchool. They log in, and in your instructions, you'll see in a minute, you log in, you type in the directions, put the test name, everything, and they know how to get there. Totally independent. Once you get them started, are they going to be independent in the beginning? No. But you get them started, use the same format all the time, and then they'll know what it is. Okay? Checkpoint. Ready? Here you go. You're going to close out your current window. You're going to return to Google Classroom. Open your practice Google Classroom and create your own announcement. How we doing, guys? Are we in there? Okay. Yes, yes. Choose your right. Yes, you use that instead of Google. And it will go right on there. Yeah. The only reason that we say Google is because it organizes it so much easier. Everybody there? So did you learn how to do this part? Are we good? Okay. Now, that's presentation. Okay. How we doing? Okay. Now, we're getting into the fun part. How to assign work. Okay. Remember, again, when I showed you there were 3 sets of contents. This is number 2. Okay, this will go much faster, and this will be more interesting. All right, so the classroom tab is where you want to go. I call this the workroom because this is where you work. This is where the kids will be in 99.9% of the time, as soon as they sit down, they'll log up, go into classroom, boop, tab, because they know that's where they're supposed to go. Okay? Again, please don't create. Alright, so this is your menu. Always go into classwork. This is what your classwork tab looks like. So everybody looks like this, right? Right? Okay. It's that way because you haven't assigned anything. You are the master of your classroom. Until you put it in there, it has nothing. There's no special resources, nothing. It's what you put in there. So that's why it's totally customizable. Okay? This is the master of your classroom. Create. Everything you're doing, you're creating in your classroom. It's like your lesson plan. Okay? It's where you decide what to put where. Of course, you always have your little menu options, and I'm not going to get you to click on this drive, but I want to show you what it does. The minute you create a class in Google Drive, it will create a Google Classroom folder for you on that drive. Everything that is done on Google Classroom will be put in that drive for you. Here is inside of my Classroom drive. It will put every individual assignment in its own folder. It's there forever until you delete it. That's one of those things I was telling you. If you do the work in Google Classroom, you have a teacher's meeting. You can go in their folder and pull up sample work to take with you. Just get print. Take it right with you. Okay? I'm not going to make you do that. Was everybody able to access the Willis Drive? The little folder I sent you? Okay. I did that because we're all going to create the same assignment at the same time, and you have to have something attached to it. Okay? Alright, creating assignments. Everyone, please click the Create tab. I just want you to see this while I'm working on it. Now, Create will bring up a menu for you. This is where you choose what type of assignment that you're going to assign to your student. Okay? The first one is a basic assignment. Now, just watch from this point forward, and then we're going to practice it, okay? I just wanted you to see that menu. The assignment tab, clicking on that is going to pull up a window. That looks a lot like our stream tabs, right? Okay? What this does, it allows you to pick which classes you're going to assign that to. So if you have two sections, let's say you have a 3rd grade A and a 3rd grade B, and you want to make the same assignment for both, all you have to do is just click and it'll go into both classrooms. You don't have to go individually. Okay? Students. There you go. That's from our training class. You can click all students and it will automatically click it. That's its default. It'll assign it to all of them unless you change it. So let's say that April Lane, which is a teacher at Clintwood, let's say she got a read aloud and I wanted to give her something different. All I have to do is uncheck her box and she won't get this assignment. I can go in and make another assignment and just click April. And there we go. It will just go to her. So that's how you differentiate. That's how you provide for all the students' needs. Okay? Alright. So, in my class, I'm requiring my students to memorize the preamble. We're doing the Constitution, and they had to memorize the preamble. And when they take their test on the 29th, they have to recite it in front of the class. Okay? So what I chose to do is to make an assignment. And you can assign topics. If you're big into organization, you are going to be able to organize them. You assign them a topic. Like I use history, English, vocabulary, one and only Ivan. Okay? And that way your assignments stay in the right place and the kids know where to go. It's vocabulary time. Go in your vocab tab and do this assignment. And they know where to find it. Okay? So, going under topic, since it's a preamble assignment, I'm going to assign it history. Now, do you have to do it that way? No. You can do it any way you want. But I do mine by subject. Okay? Now, here are your attachment resources. If it's on a flash drive, you're going to use this. If it's on Google, this. YouTube, this. Website link, this. What type of assignment it is what you're going to use to attach it. Okay? Now, all of the things I sent you are in that Google Drive folder on Google. So we're going to be using Google Drive. Okay? When you click on it, you can search for the document that you're looking for. Once you find it, you click and it goes into the assignment. Now, this is extremely important because this menu, clicking on that will say students can view file, which means they can see it, but they can't make any changes, they can't do anything to it. Students can edit, they can edit it. Student, or make a copy for each student. Now think about this. You got a Google Slides project and you assign it. And each one of them is supposed to do their individual work on it. Okay? If I create students can edit file, and Johnny pulls his up before Sarah does, and Johnny starts working, it makes changes, the same changes on all of them. It's for them to collaborate on projects. But if you want them to do individual work, you have to tell, I mean, it's not a mind reader. It don't know what you're expecting out of this assignment, so you have to tell it, make a copy for each thing. What it will do, it will make a copy, put it in the folder like I showed you earlier, and it's all there. And you have their individual work. Okay? So, since this is just a copy of the preamble for them to read, I don't have to worry about changing it. They can view it. They don't have to make changes. I'm telling Google what I want it to do. Okay? So, once it's assigned, boom, there it is. It's under the History tab, and it's on the wall, and the kids will see it, click on it, do the work. Ready to create an assignment? All right, here we go. You are a math teacher and you want to assign your students a worksheet using their own paper or a Rocket book. Okay? So, you're going to create an assignment and attach the resource Addition Math Worksheet. Assign the topic as math to keep your work more organized. So, where do we go to create an assignment? We go to the Create, right? That's how we're going to create. You go to Create. And we're going to assign, the resource is called Addition Math Worksheet. I highly advise whatever you're going to call that when you talk to your students, naturally, to title it that. Because then you don't have to remember what it said in your classroom for the kids to find. No, I just did that so you know that was the name of the source you're going for.
Sure. Third, fourth, or fifth, because they were last year. Oh, so how did
They have, I guarantee, they
have, because
they
they did
have,
second
it's totally
grade
different.
this year, and they had.
That's, they
So how do
separated
I-
the stream in the classroom. So, the ones from last year.
Are you using
them?
this year? But see, that would explain why I know they've done this.
Yeah.
But it's not showing up that they've turned it in.
So you don't have these other
I don't
pictures that we're
have
talking
that.
about?
No, that's what I was trying to, is there a way to delete it, or do I have to
That's
delete it and
true.
start again? Delete
That's
it
a
and
question
start
I didn't know,
again.
because I didn't realize, you're teaching me, because I didn't realize that we taught a class last
because
year, and
last
they
year,
changed Google. Yeah, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
research that for you, I'll let you know, because I want to know that
Yeah,
myself.
because
Yeah.
I am, that's what I was asking
Yeah.
her, because I don't have
Were they on
classwork. Because this is from last year, but this one for this year does, and I didn't know how to.
Yeah.
If we,
How we doing?
no, they do use it.
Do a search. Addition Math Worksheet.
Yeah. If you're going to assign, yes. Yeah, right. Everything's going to be your Google Drive today. That's that folder I was talking about. So you just add it and do a search like you do in Google search. Addition Math Worksheet.
Because I shared that folder so you can have that.
edit this after you assign it?
Yes, you can.
With the 3 dots? Or?
Yes, with the 3 dots.
It's not showing.
This is.
We need to know for.
And that's it.
It's because she hasn't shared it with you.
Well,
You assign your first assignment in classroom.
You have to-
And that's already done. You make quick glance.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to see how that is.
You're good to go, you just made your first assignment.
Because there's lots of ways I can use it. I end up doing like a writing assignment. I know there's other things.
I go to apps.
I want to get some new ideas. So.
I mean, you can take sort of my hand with that. That's what you started by. That's the plan. That's the plan. If you'll go with me, I'll take you there. I just gotta get people on board. Bring it with me. Let's go.
Show up.
We can all do this. I know we can. Be a cheerleader.
Alright, how we doing, guys? And there you go, you just made your first assignment. Congratulations. Oh, you'll be an expert by the end of this day, because you're gonna do this like 3 more times.
I said you're gonna be ready to say, get out of here.
I see that the 3 dots says you can edit the assignment. I didn't see
Rename.
Alright, guys, now that everybody's created your assignment, what if you make a mistake? What if once you post it, it's like, oh no, I meant to do this. You can fix it. There's nothing that can't be undone here. So let me go into my class, and I'm gonna go down to my practice class. I've got some assignments. Alright, so let's say that I'm on your creative assignment. That's what you just did, right? If you click those 3 dots, it'll say edit, delete, or copy link.
Now I have renamed, delete, copy.
Yours is a little different than mine.
We did the addition worksheet.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, did you?
The- no.
Oh, the addition? Okay, let me go in there.
Mine's renamed.
Let me go in there.
No, down on the.
We're under math. I don't have that one on this one.
It don't
But
show
anyway,
up.
it's all the same. It should be.
Yeah, I see it now. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
top.
it all should be the same regardless of the assignment. But, that's my tab, what just meant. There. This is your tab. Your tab has different dots. Do you see that? Clicking on that will let you alter your tab. Clicking on the assignment. When you click edit, go ahead and click on edit.
Then you can assign, then you put your.
Then it pulls it all back up again. Okay? Now, I'm going to give you a hint. I don't know if you'll remember this later, but you'll run into it and say, oh, that's what she was talking about. Okay? If you forget to make this say, give each student a copy, and you realize that in class, you can't change it. You have to delete it and assign it again. So try to remember, if you want that assignment to make a copy for each student, let me scroll down. You remember when I showed you this menu right here? This right here, each student will get a copy. If you don't do that, I found that out, I forget that all the time. I get in a hurry. And then I'll get in class and they're like, Miss Willis, I can't pull it up. It don't work. I can't edit it. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. And I close it out, I create it again, and then click it. It will save you a lot of time, especially when you're getting started.
I don't see that option.
Mine doesn't have that option.
Did you click on now sign? It
Because we
didn't do-
assigned it already.
I X'd it out.
So you
But-
got to.
So you have to redo the whole thing, or you can just X out the little,
Oh.
that like where you've got one or
Let me show you how I got there. Okay? I'm right here with my assignment. You guys are on.
Since we assigned it already, if we just put it as, students can view file or something like that.
Yeah,
It can.
right here.
Right.
See how it's blacked out?
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
So you have to do at the very top of the assignment tab, you have to X that out and completely start over?
You gotta delete it.
You have to delete it.
The whole.
Yeah, you would have to delete the whole assignment.
thing and
Yes,
start over.
and start all over. That's what I'm saying. If you get in there and your kids start working and it's either changing everybody's work at one time or it won't let them work in it,
oh, I didn't click, make a copy for everybody. So you close it out, make it again, click it, and it'll go right out to you. So that's why if you can get in the habit of checking that every time, and I'm telling you, once you do it once or twice, you'll not forget it again, because it causes chaos, okay? Not as much chaos as it is aggravation, because you're wanting to get going and you can't, okay? It causes aggravation.
The only way you want to do that is to collaborate, everybody on the same document.
Right.
That's very rarely that you do that unless you make a copy.
Yeah. I actually sent a suggestion that it default to that, because you use that a whole lot more than you do anything. That's what I sent to the
That would be really
help
good. Yeah, I hope
Yeah.
they'll change that.
because Cammy defaults to it. And I thought, well, this is great, why don't they do this? So maybe they'll change it, I don't know. Okay.
I remember that.
So if you make an assignment and there's something wrong with it after you post it, you know, you get tired, you make mistakes. Edit it, fix it. The only thing you can't fix is to make a copy per student, okay? Any questions at this point? Okay. If you guys only knew how much you've learned so far. You may feel behind, but right now we can stop and you can use Google Classroom tomorrow. You could. You may not be able to grade it yet, but you can make an assignment, so that's awesome. Alright, so that's presentation number 2. I'm in the wrong one. Here we go. There we go. Now, you should have 2 assignments, right? Or have we done them?
We just did the math.
Alright. Now, go ahead and click View Assignment. Click on the Math Edition worksheet. And it will pull this window up. Now, what this does for you, turned in, assigned. Now, you only have, what, me? 1 student? What you will see there is the number of students in your class, okay? It will change once you get those kids added in there, okay? This turned in, when that number changes, that's how you know a kid completing an assignment needs to be graded, okay? Just like if they got up out of their seat and walked over to their basket and turned it in, they turned it in. But they turned it in on the computer, not in paper. That's what it means, okay? All right. Let's do another one. You ready? This time, you're a reading teacher and you want to assign your class a Google Slides project. Okay? Create an assignment and attach the resource. Remember, you have to search in your Google Drive because I shared it with you. One and only Ivan. You're going to assign the topic as reading because you want to organize it, right? And you want to make sure you change the assignment to make a copy for each student. Remember, that's so important. I want to make plates and put them on our computer. Change. Make a copy because it causes problems. There you go. And you put that in, so you already made a math, but you need to make a reading. So all the reading assignments are going. I got to down on Google Drive, you have to do a search for your assignment. There's one on the island, that's what you want. So Tyler, whatever you're talking about, that's right. Make a copy.
That way, it's just like handing out copies of class.
And then assign it.
And then assign it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right here, I'm gonna create a topic, and then I'm gonna.
So it's not math, like not, not
The
math.
topic is what it's going to be assigned. They're kind of like kids.
That's
a math
right.
lesson. So this is a reading
But
assignment.
where is, I can't find where.
I don't have a topic there.
Okay, that's where you have to do it for each student. You have to attach to this.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Back in the book.
That's
Yeah, I'll
the
put it on
summary.
my math.
That's what we'll say you title that as one of the items. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, that puts the assignment there. It's just like handing it to you. Yes, that means, now, this is what we're telling you we're going to do. This assignment. Okay? They can just look at it. Everybody will edit the same thing, or you want to give each student.
That's what,
Yes.
that's what I can find it.
Yes, because you hadn't attached it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can only tell it what to do after you tell it what you do it is.
Alright, that's ready.
It's ready. You can assign it. Over there. How we doing, guys? Good?
Like quizzes and stuff.
All right, so now we have 3 assignments. Now, this is the same thing. If you click on it and expand it, it's going to show you how many students you assigned it to, and it will tell you how many are turned in. It's just like getting papers out of your basket. They've turned it in. That's how many has done it. Instead of counting them, it's right there in front of you. Okay? All right, now, quiz assignments. You want it to grade papers for you. Wouldn't that be nice? This is a quiz assignment, and if you make the assignment in here, it will grade it for you. Give you a grading summary that tells you what the class average was. It tells you which students missed which questions. It tells you anything you need to know to do a review on that subject. But it has to be created in Google. It can't grade a paper for you. You grade those manually. This will grade it, right? Some teachers at Clint would have, this is turned into our Friday test. Because you can do anything you want with it more than you get from me. Okay? Alright, so we're going to create a quiz. Okay? Once you create a, click on the quiz assignment, window looks pretty much the same, doesn't it? But the only thing is you don't have to attach work. It's already got a blank form in there for you to fill out, to put your quiz questions in. You see it on the bottom? Instead of one on the oven, it says blank quiz. Okay? Now, click on blank quiz. Do not click X. If you click X, it's going to take it away from you. You're deleting it. Okay? Click on blank quiz, and this is what's going to pop up. All the little surveys that I send you, that I've sent you for this training, that Mr. Robinson sends, all of these are done on this. And you can make a thing that looks just like it. You can insert pictures. If you're a reading teacher, you can go to like readworks.org and put your whole story in there and make your questions underneath it. They enter a multiple choice every how you want them to do it, and it grades it. Okay? So this is called Google Forms. You're learning a new Google app today. Not only are you learning the classroom, but you're learning forms too. It's pretty cool. Right? So I'm going to go into this, and I'm going to show you how to fill this out. Now, like I said, you're not going to remember all of this, but on that resource, if you're like, how did she do that Google Forms? You can find how to do it. Okay? Alright, so remember, anytime we want to create an assignment, we go under Create, and you guys will get that later. But, quiz assignment. Okay? It's already got my quiz. You can do one or two things. You can go ahead and put all this information in there if you want, or you can do your quiz first. Okay? But, you don't have to attach anything if you don't have to. Blank quiz. Clicking on that, go ahead and click on it. That will bring up your form. And I'm going to let you do this as I do it. Okay? Because we're running out of time. We're going to do it together. Okay? I don't want it to get so late on you. Alright, so, blank quiz. We're going to call this an addition quiz. We're going to be a math teacher. So, just like any other Google form, you have to give it a title. And you want your paper to have a title. so the kids know what the assignment is. So we're gonna also name this addition quiz.
If you type it in the white one, doesn't it change it up on the purple one automatically?
It might, I've never tried that. Did you teach me something?
I don't know, maybe.
I don't know, I'll try it, remind me, and I'll try it later. Okay, so, always make sure that you click it there. For description, this is where I give instructions. If there's something special I want them to do, let's say, I'm putting these math problems in there, but I know they can't do them in their head. They need to work it out on paper. In the directions, I'm gonna say, answer the question. Work out the problems on your own paper and turn it in. Okay? Just like you would if you made a worksheet for your kids. Exactly the same thing. That's where you put the directions that you would put under their name on a sheet of paper. Same thing. Okay? Now, let's make our first question. And there we go. You are ready to type a question. So this is an addition quiz. We're going to keep it simple because I'm a reading teacher. And we're going to say 2 plus 2 equals. Boom. There's their question.
That's what you were typing, I'm sorry.
Am I going too fast, Ms. Rowe? Am I going too fast?
No, you're good. Couldn't see good, I was getting my glasses.
Okay. All right. 2 plus 2 equals. Now they know the question. Now I need to decide. You know, you don't just give your kids multiple choice tests all the time, right? You can, but that's not doing any good. Over here is a menu. Everyone click right here. There are all kinds of choices. We can't go through all of them. We'll be here till 10 o'clock. Okay? My go-tos for quick tests are multiple choice and paragraph. Let me tell you why I don't use short answer. If the kids do not type it exactly the way you do in your answer key, it will count it wrong. So I think mine was President Lincoln. Oh gosh, I got 1,500 ways to spell Lincoln. And they're not good typers yet either. You know, so you don't want to penalize them for not being able to type. Okay? So I very rarely use short answer unless it's something I know they'll get right. Because it'll count it wrong every time and they flip out when they see their score. I got it right, I got 100. I'm sorry, I'll fix it. Okay? So I would not use short answer unless you know for a fact every student will do it exactly right. Okay? What I would do, I do paragraph. Paragraph looks like short answer, but they can type as much as they need to. Okay? And I do multiple choice. Now, if it is a quick assessment, and I just want to assess, it's not a big unit test or anything, it's just a skill assessment, say, okay, what do I need to review tomorrow? I'm going to put some of these questions in here, let them answer it, and it's going to make me a report. It'll tell me who's missing what and everything, and I'll show you that in a minute. Okay? So, multiple choice is my go-to for quick assessments.
So if you do the paragraph, can it grade that?
No.
Okay.
You have to manually grade that.
Okay.
But if you do multiple choice, it's a quick thing, it grades it and makes you a summary. Okay? Alright. So, now I've told Google that I'm making a multiple choice question. It has to know what you want it to do. I gotta tell it the answer choices because it's multiple choice. So I'm gonna start out with 4. And then right here, you see that? Just for quick, if you add that, it'll put those in. It's kind of like a smart answer, like kind of like autocorrect on your phone when it thinks you're going to say. Is it always right, Susan? No, it's not always right. For our purposes, it is. So, okay. So we're going to do that, and we're going to quick add. All you're doing is giving the 4 choices that you want your kids. You don't have to just do 4. You can do 15. Whatever you want to do, it's your test. Okay? Now, once this is finished, you have to tell Google what the right answer is. It's not that smart. Okay? Have to. So you go under answer key. Now, we already know if it's going to grade it for us, it has to know a grading scale. We have to tell it how many points each question is worth. Okay? So, I already know I'm only going to have 4 questions on this test. So there'll be 25 points apiece. Right? I have to tell Google when they answer this question, you're gonna give it a point value of 25 points, because it's doing what you would normally do. Okay, it can't do it by itself. Now, also, I have to tell Google what the right answer is. Okay? So, by clicking on it, I've told Google, anytime they click this box, they got it right. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you an optional feature. I use it a lot. It takes a little more time to set up, but it's called answer feedback. Okay? Answer feedback. If they get an incorrect answer, if they pick one of the other three and it's wrong, you can type why they missed it. So, if I'm doing reading and I know the answer to this question is in paragraph 2 and they miss this, I'll say, incorrect, go back and reread paragraph 2. And they know, and they do, they're like, well, I didn't see that. And they get their book and they go back, oh, there it is. You know, and I mean, I watch to see if they read it, and that's what they do. Okay, so they're immediately getting that feedback. I don't have to pull a small group over and say, this is why you missed this is why you missed this, and work with all of them. They individually get what they missed. Okay? Correct answers. If you want to say, high five, good job, way to go, you got it right, you know, whatever, make it fun. Just something to keep it interesting. Okay? But that is your choice. It is your class. You do whatever you like. So, create 3 more questions. Just little simple addition, because it's all addition, right? So do 3 more. Oh, one other thing. I'm so sorry. When I get off my slides, I forget. Do you see this right here? The required. If you leave that closed, they don't have to answer the question. They can submit it blank. Did you hear that, Amy?
What's that?
On this part right here, on the required, if you leave it closed, they can just submit it and not answer anything. If you click required, they have to answer every question you do that to before they can submit it. So if you get a test and all of them are empty, you'll be like, I didn't make them answer. But the kids don't know that, but they're just not answering. So I just want to make sure you guys knew that part. Now, to create a new question, you click on the plus that says add question. And it will go right there. You type in just a little simple addition question. Remember, you want to tell Google if it's multiple choice. I highly recommend multiple choice because this is just a quick assessment, right? You want it to grade it for you.
So if you don't have it required and they don't answer, do they still get credit for that?
If you go back in and grade it for them, you can go back in and make them answer the questions, because it will give them a score of 0.
Okay, so if they don't answer.
If they don't answer anything, because where you do it that point value, it doesn't have to.
In each question, you have to.
You have to require it, yes. Yeah, you have to require each question. Not quite sure why that's an option. I've never figured out a good use for that, because if I'm giving my students a question, I want them to answer it. I don't know why it has to be required. Do you, Mr.
That's
Robinson?
set up more from the perspective, like if you answer number 4, but you don't need to answer number 5.
Right, on the
So
survey
if you had
type
a-
things.
if you answered number 4, no, and number 5 was a question related to number 4,
Right.
but if you answered yes, you don't have to answer it. It's not required because you,
Makes
and you can
sense.
set it, you know, that's kind of like an if-then thing that you put in there.
Right. Makes sense.
With the coding thing.
Lord. Well, like I said, I'm just getting started. There's all kinds of options that may come in handy for her I hadn't even thought about yet.
And you ask
Don't forget to create an answer key. You have to tell Google what the answer to your question is. Oh, it don't matter. It's just like a random multiple choice. Yeah, it's your test. You can make it say anything you want.
I have to show her
Points, yeah, because there's 25 of them.
And then you have to tell Google the right answer.
You have to make sure your answer is there. Yes, when you pick your answer choices, you want to make sure it answers
Oh,
your
that's not
question.
the choice, that's gonna be.
Add options.
Yes.
Okay, option.
Yeah, it's just like
Then I've got to
making.
put different things. I click that, I need to.
done.
Yeah, cut your points, just tell it right, so it can grade.
Take that time.
That's it.
Go on to the next question.
Here we go. 3 times it'll be, oh, Pat, you'll get it.
Are you bored, Miss Smith?
No, I've never used the quiz.
Really?
I do surveys a lot.
Yeah.
Surveys a lot.
Yeah, now the quiz option, I'm telling you, wait till you see the summary that you can write.
We actually used it last year, not the quiz, but the forms to do a survey, and then I copied, scanned the results, put in the yearbook. Of like, what's your favorite on board
I did
class
all-
and things like
That's
that.
awesome, I do yearbook. I'm not copy that.
That's my second job.
That's mine too. What's that before? Yeah, I'm the yearbook person.
Yeah.
I go too. How we doing, ladies? Good? That's it.
All right, no problem. Where am I? Where am I?
This X these out. Because I don't know, you don't have to tell it it's granted grade picture, you just have to put options, and then you're going to tell it what the. So like 1 plus 4, you can say X those. Let's see. Okay, I know what you're doing. Click edit question. Right here, you go ahead and I'll show you.
Oh, okay. So I
Yeah,
have to do-
multiple choice,
I
that's
find
it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, now I'm gonna do options.
Uh-huh.
And then, and you know that you've got all your point values right, so you don't have to.
Then what do you do at this point? Send it?
Just hang out right there.
Okay,
When
okay,
it gets
okay.
with you, I'll tell you what.
Okay.
Okay, everybody seems okay. I'm gonna go ahead and create one more question. That way you can see the chart that it does. Now, I'm gonna show you a way to check yourself. Always check the total of points. That makes sure that the point value you assign, because everybody here, I'm assuming, grades on a 100-point scale, right? So you want all your assignments to total 100 points. So always make sure when you think you have completed an assignment, check those points and make sure that you have enough questions, that you've assigned the right point value, that kind of thing. Because it is going to be possible for us to send grades immediately from this to Tyler eventually. Don't know when, but they're working on it. So,
So if you wanted to add a bonus question in at the end, you
You
could add it
can.
and just put it for 5
5
points.
points, yes,
And
that's
then
why
your
it
total
lets
will
you
be
assign it.
105.
yes, that's
Okay.
why it lets you assign
Okay.
point value and
Okay.
doesn't automatically do it based on the number of questions. There's some questions that I do in a 10-point quiz or question quiz. Some of them will be worth 5 because they're easy, and then I'll put a harder, and I'll make it worth 15. You know, those kind of things. So you're the boss. You tell it what to do. All right. So at this
point. This is gonna kind of throw you a little bit, okay? We don't use send. Send is if you're gonna email this quiz to somebody, okay? All you have to do is click back into your classroom and trust that it's gonna be there. So I'm gonna name this Addition Quiz. Okay? Oops, sorry. Addition Quiz. And then I would have my instructions, write it out on your own paper, you know, that kind of thing, normally. Now, this is math. Please get in the habit of organizing your stuff, because if you don't, you just have a big old long list of assignments. That's it. Okay? So, click on math so it'll organize it for you. Do not worry, this does not have to be sent to each individual student. It will do it on its own. Okay? And once you're sure you've got everything in there and it's the way you want it, you assign it to the students you want it to do, you click assign. And there it is. I've got two because I did one earlier. Okay? But I'm going to show you, I went ahead and done this one ahead of time. And I'm going to show you what you'll see when your students, I have one student turn it in. I'm working on my son and my daughter's accounts here. But clicking on view assignment, okay, will show you who turned it in, who did not. Okay? Okay. Once it loads, now you've got to visualize 20 kids. Okay? Once it loads, this chart will be filled with everybody's answers. Okay? It shows you the average score for the whole class on that test. It shows you the median. And it shows you your point range. Okay? And then it's on a little chart. When you come down here, this is my daughter, she got mad because I made her 75. But if you click on that, it will take you to that student's quiz. And you can look at it and see what questions they missed. Okay? I've got so many tabs open, I can't remember what's what. Alright, so we're in responses, and there it is. And then it'll come down here and it'll tell you which question was missed, that kind of thing, for the whole class. It's not just one person, and I wish I had more than one person in my training class so you could see that, okay? This, if you click on question, it will take you through each question on the test and tell you how many students missed it, how many did not. You click on response for missed, it will list all their email addresses. And you'll know every student in your class that missed one question. So if it's, you've got a review question, you know how you'll throw review questions in there? If you've got a review question that you're expecting all of them to get right, they miss it, you click on that view, then you can see, hey, this kid should know this by now. We need to do this in a small group. It'll pull it out for you. Okay? But that's a quick overview of Google Forms. Okay. And on these slides, I've used my favorite videos. Some of them I made, some of them I put in there. This is like 3 minutes. Takes you through how to grade it. Okay? You already did that. Question assignments, I'm not going to go through that. I was going to show it to you. If you click on question, it will pull it just like anything else. The only thing that's different is you can select here what option. If you want a multiple choice question or if you want a short answer. If you choose this option, student can see class summary when it comes up. Depending on how it's answered, it will show them a chart of how the class answered that question. Okay? YouTube videos. Now before I come to school today and got an email, I was going to show you something different to do. But now we can do it differently. So I'm going to show you something. YouTube videos, guys, a lot of them already worked under material. They wouldn't work under assignment, but they worked under the material assignment. Go ahead and click on material. Create material. Now, I'm going to have to pull a live window up because I don't have the new process on there. So I'm going to train you what Mr. Edwards or Larry was telling us about. Okay, I'm going to create a material assignment. Now, right here is your YouTube, okay? Leave this pulled up in another window, open a new tab, and go to youtube.com. And I'm going to show you something. I have a channel. I have two, actually. One's private and one's that. But I've been making classroom videos for a long time. And they've been used all over the place. I got, like, this one has 140,000 views. I mean, I get emails from everybody loving my videos. But here it is if you ever want to use it. But by clicking on me, okay, down here at the bottom, video not approved for DCPS K12.BA.US. They're depending on us as educators to view these videos and filter the content. Because it's not a good thing to approve everything for everybody, is it? No. So if it's a video and you're comfortable with it and you think no matter what age level or who in the building should be able to watch that video, you have the power to click approve. When you click approve, you're saying, and I just heard Larry tell me he saw I was the one that clicked on that video. So you will be responsible, so don't get in a hurry and just click approve because they will come find you if it finds out. They will ask you about it, I'm sure. Right? I would. So make sure before you approve a video, you watch it all the way through. Make sure.
And these are videos that are outside our domain, is that what it is? So if it's inside a domain, it's not gonna be a problem if we create our own, right? If
It
it's from the-
shouldn't be.
Right, that's what I'm thinking. If
I
it's
would
outside
pull them
the
up and
domain,
make sure.
outside the DCPS,
Okay.
you have to approve that. But I
Yeah,
think if you
because this
create
is
your
made
own,
on,
it shouldn't be a problem.
right, this one's made on my personal email.
Right, okay, that's the reason, yeah.
Yeah. So, just make sure that if it's a video, you're gonna watch it all the way through. Just to make sure, even this one you've done for years, I'd still watch it. Just to make sure nobody's, you know. There you go, my logo don't come out, right? Okay, so once you approve it, what did that get rid of our share window? No, we'll do it this way. Go to the top, right click, copy. Because you're approving the video and you're going to copy this web address because that's where you want your kids to go. And go back into Classroom. Because you're taking that link with you because you copied it. Okay? If you click on the YouTube, you can click paste and view. And it will put it there. That's one way to do it.
And I want to mention to you, if you see it, then it's in a format that it recognizes. You know, if you click an address and it don't pop up there automatically, then it's really not the format that it will work with. So once you click on that, you know, go ahead and I'll just say that you make sure that it pops up, otherwise it won't, it's not recognizing that. And there are certain videos that you might think would work, but if you drop it into that window there, the URL, and it doesn't pop up, then it's not going to allow it to go anyway. So.
And you can also, at this point, guys, you click add and it'll go on there. But if you want, and I want to do this because I have not done this yet, I just want to see what it does. You can type in, I think it's the name of Myra's that I did for her. Yeah. Polygon, that's what it is, Polygon. Now, if you just do a search, see, I can't approve that video because I'm just clicking on it and adding it. I can't go into the link. So you have to open YouTube. I was curious.
Yeah.
I just found out. You have to go into YouTube and click approve. Copy the link and go in. I'll make a video and put it on my thing.
I've done it twice today
Have
already.
you? Good. Good. All right.
And it's probably
But-
something you'd used before, right, Tammy, that
Yeah.
you had to go in there and make sure you approved it before you could use it?
But
Yeah,
I used it
attachment
twice
to
today after they did that.
right,
Yeah, but
I couldn't play my videos yesterday.
Right.
attaching it to Classroom, I think on my resource thing, I told you you could do a search and insert it, but today I can't. You can't do that no more. So I gotta update it. All right, so once that's in there, anything else, you talk the title, then we'll say Polygon song. And then you give them directions, and you click post. And what did I not do? What's missing, guys? The tab. So if I want to fix it, I go in and edit, and topic. This would be math, save. So if it appears at the top, did you guys see that? If it appears at the top, it's because you didn't assign it at the top. And all you have to do is edit it and tell it where you want it to put it, so the kids can find it.
and there's a way that you can move that, you can just click and drag that stuff too, if you want to
Mhm.
move to the top. So if you've got a self-contained classroom, for example, and today is math day, but whatever you have is at the top, history's at the top, you want kids to see the first thing there, so all you do is click and drag it to the top of the page. So
Yeah.
that way, that's what they see today, rather than having to scroll all the way down the page. And that's fairly new, that's only been there like 2 weeks that you can do that.
I'm tired, guys. I can see it in your eyes. Now, I can't let you go without showing you how to grade it. You gotta know how to grade. Okay, so let's look right here.
And we did this the first time we were here this long, so y'all don't feel like you're,
Yeah, it's not just you.
yeah, we did it, we were at Ridgeview the same amount of times.
Alright. Now,
So you can tell Mr. Deal you need a work day out of this.
I was gonna give you a break while I went in and graded your work, but I think I'm just gonna show it to you. And go in as a student in each one of your classes and click submit, and then you can practice on one, and I think you'll have it. Okay? Alright, grading Google Slides. Now, everybody click on one and only item. In the practice, in the one where you made the assignment, should be the one you're working in now. Okay, now I'm gonna go into each one of your signs, and I'm gonna be your student and return it to you, okay? So you can see what it'll be like when you pull it up. So there's Bailey. Rita. If I go into somebody that's not here, let me know. Okay. Okay, see what happened? Oh, there it is. All right, view assignment, and I'm going to turn it in. I'm the student, I'm gonna pretend I work in it, and I'm gonna turn it in. And then that will go to Rita.
So it popped up on, did it pop up there? Yeah.
Is this, she's gone, right? She gone?
No, she's here.
All right.
That was Pam, yeah.
Pam. I'm sorry, I don't remember everybody's names.
Med flights.
Turn that in for Pam. If you see me click on your class, go ahead and go and open that assignment.
Pam's gone, so you don't have to do that.
Okay, I don't have to do that.
She's
Elizabeth
gone.
is gone. Amy's here.
A lot of people left.
Yeah, they slipped down on me, didn't
Yeah.
It's a lot of info, guys. But it's so.
Don't need, see how I would open it to go in.
There you go, Miss Amy.
Like if I had someone to
they?
submit.
Yeah, just click on it.
Would you click on view assignment?
Mhm. And then I
Is
was.
there somebody
be
I
able to
had
see
on?
what they
Yeah.
did.
I didn't
Yeah.
scroll down enough. You didn't do me,
And,
but I've
and
seen
the
it.
first time,
Okay.
if you'll
So you're
notice, if
good?
you've done it for the first time, there's a little window that pops up and it kind of gives you this is, telling you what you're doing. So that, for that first go around, and again, help's there anytime you need it, so.
Yeah.
So don't worry if, if it's, you click the wrong thing, you can always click on help and it'll help. See, there you go, Amy, it popped up for you now.
You see it? All right, so now I've turned in my assignment. You're gonna click on that assignment and open it, because you can't grade it without looking at it. So go ahead and click it. And when you click it, it's gonna pull it up. Okay? All right, so I'm gonna do this right along with you, and I'm gonna pin my second one. All right? Now, this is blank, but normally, if you know how to do Google Slides or if you know how to do PowerPoint, okay, all of the options that you have available to you in that are here for your grading, okay? If you've created a project, you want to click on it slide per slide. And look, because I've got questions and insert pictures, and especially this is a summary slide. And you can present it, if it's too small on your screen, hit present. You can look at it to grade it, so you know if they got it right. And then you just hit escape. But let's say that what this is for, guys, is for them to drop and drag a multiple choice bubble. I just make it that way so they can do that, okay? So let's say that they answered a question wrong. Right here on the side is your working area, okay? So I want to let the student know what they missed. So normally what I do is I will insert a shape, and they have, I can use a cloud, but I tell my students I want to use an X. Because that's what they're used to seeing a slash, so I just do this. I just make an X and put it over the question. And then I always like to give my kids feedback. So I'm going to add a comment. And I'll say something like, missed question 2, look at page 5 again. Tell them why they missed it, tell them where they can find the right answer, and then let's say this is worth 5 points, minus 5. That's why I took 5 points.
Do you make these slides yourself?
I do.
Do you? And how do you do that multiple choice stuff?
You
Yeah, I
put,
can do the dragon, I think, but I don't know.
yeah, I've got a video on that thing that shows you how.
Okay.
I sure do. Anything you see here,
If
I've
you
got
want to stay till 8
videos.
o'clock, she'll be doing
No,
it.
that's. My stomach's growling.
Mine is too.
We'll stay till 8 o'clock if you
All right.
dinner.
So, once, I only took 5 points off because they got the rest of it right. You manually enter the grade. So everybody can go ahead and grade this assignment. You go ahead and put the grade in, 95. Now, doesn't do any good if I don't give the student their paper back. So instead of handing them out to everybody, all I have to do is click return. And that grade will go back to Brad. Okay? And right there is his grade. And if you wait a minute, if it's in draft, if you just give it just a second, it's a little slow. But it tells you, you graded Bradley and he got a 95. Now, I'm going to show you what the student says. Oh, you can copy this one. Okay, see, it tells my student it's been graded. They click on view assignment, and right there's their score. And they click on it. And remember the comments I put in?
There's my X, but I don't know where my comma's at. It's there. somewhere.
Popping up down there, cause it's showing.
It's there. Trust me, the comment will be there. It always is.
But what about present? Did you do it as present and it shows up?
No, it's there. But if you put a comment, it's always there. Always there. I may have been in a hurry and didn't get her in. I may have X'd out of it or something. All right, but your student will see that, okay? But that's what they see, is they see a summary. They see that grade right there. It tells them it's graded. They know they can go in and look at it, pull it up. They see any comments that you put in there, and it's there. That's it. Now, the only thing I got left to show you is how to grade a Google form. Because that multiple choice thing, I'm pretty sure you guys will want to try that out, and you need to know how to grade it, and it's not hard. It's so easy. Look right here. All right. I already have the addition quiz. Okay, this is the one I created ahead of time because I anticipated this happening. Okay, so you go into addition quiz. Clicking there will give you your response. It's just a second. I just graded one of those. Okay, so Emma's gone in and she's gonna complete her form. Right here. See how this is faded out? That lets the student know they've done it. If it's not faded out, they have it. But we're gonna say she said 4:15, send me a copy. If they send a copy of their response and they hit submit, they can view their score. And it will tell them their score immediately. Okay, so that's a good thing. Got immediate feedback. Now, Emma's has been graded, so now let's go look at how to grade them. Okay. Do you see this? Watch what it does. You don't even have to open the form to send them their grade. Import grade. If you have 20 students listed here, and you've gone through and opened it up, you click on import grade, it pulls all those grades off that form and populates it. And all you have to do is verify the grade. Because if somebody, let's say you got a straight A student and they got a 30, there's a problem. You don't want to send it until you look at it. You click it and click return. And they got their grade. And that's it. So you create, I love forms. I use them all the time for quick assessment to get an idea, especially now we're going in SOL review, and I need to know what skills they're low in. We'll just do a skill review. I'll do it and pull it up, and I'll say, these kids I need to work with in small group tomorrow, while the others work on their one and only I. And get that skill. Easy grade, easy summary, and that's it. So, if you go into the website that you booked, there's the video. All these are there. And there's everything I just showed you. Google Form. Oral presentations, if you assign them, and you can pull up each individual student, enter their grade as they do it. Okay? Now, what I want to show you here, your students.
remember I showed you, you can select which students you want to receive it. This would be my teacher view. Okay, and eventually it's gonna get pretty crowded, because you're gonna have a lot of work in there that the kids are working on. And you can delete them once you've got your grades recorded, because it's saved in the student Google Drive. Okay? But, by selecting who you assign that to, this is what theirs looks like. So they only see what you assign to them. Okay? So, these kids right here, maybe they're resource kids and I wanted them to listen to an audio book. I didn't want to assign them the same assignment. They would have no idea they're not getting the same thing everybody else does, because it's not on their screen. Okay. Homepage menu, right here, everybody go ahead and click on that. Go to your settings. This is how you change everything. And this is it, guys, the last thing. You can go through, you can decide. I've been getting notifications on my email every time y'all submit something, because I have this open. Anytime somebody submits something in one of your classes, if you have that on, it will send you an email. Okay? Comments on your post. If you're enrolled in a class, let's say you're doing a college class, and a lot of colleges use Classroom now, don't they, Rita? You can make controls to your classes right there. Okay? Classes you teach. This is where you control the classes that you make. It's all under that menu under settings. Support. Guys, I'll put these links on my resource page, but all you have to do is go to Google Classroom, Google Classroom Support, search, tons of stuff. YouTube, how to create Google Form, how to do this, how to do that, videos everywhere. So whatever format you like the best is available. But here are my credits, and that's it. How he's going to use Classroom tomorrow? How about Monday? Get started with it Monday. No.
It's a good option. It really is.
Now, if you don't care, if you can go into my training class, I think I've got a survey assigned for you. Is that in there? If not, if you closed it out, I can email it to you. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. But I just thought you might want to get it over with today. But well, never mind. I'll end up emailing it anyway because some people had to leave. So, but that's it. Any questions?
That's pretty.
Yes.
Thank you, Candy.
Everything
Thank you.
else.
But I don't know any.
Right.
I got one.
Yeah.